Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from confrontation. Comfort never built a warrior, and ease never made a man or woman unshakable. Comfort makes you soft. Confrontation makes you sharp. Every time life challenges you, it's testing the strength of your character, not the softness of your circumstances. You don't grow by avoiding pressure. You grow by learning to stand under it without breaking. Most people spend their days running from anything uncomfortable, not realizing that the very thing they run from is the thing designed to build them. When you face a hard situation, when you're tested by people, pain, or problems, that's not life punishing you. That's life preparing you. Every confrontation with difficulty is an invitation to rise. It's a test to see whether you'll fold or fight, retreat or rise. You learn who you are when things stop going your way. You find your true strength not when everything is smooth, but when the ground beneath you shakes and you decide to keep walking anyway. Think about a diamond. It's just carbon that refused to crumble under pressure. Think about steel. It's forged in fire. Think about your own potential. It's developed in the heat of struggle. You can't wish for strength and then hide from struggle. The universe doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the courageous. So when you face confrontation, whether it's with fear, failure, or frustration, don't shrink back. Look it in the eye. Because every time you confront something hard, you collect a piece of power you didn't have before. Every battle you face shapes your backbone. Every mountain you climb strengthens your mind. You're not being broken down. You're being built up. Comfort will give you pleasure for a moment, but confrontation will give you power for a lifetime. If you want to stay strong in any situation, stop looking for comfort and start seeking challenge. Because it's not in the easy days that you become great, it's in the days that demand your full strength, your full focus, and your full heart. That's where the real you is born. Control your mind, or it will control you. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess, but it's also the most dangerous weapon if left unattended. It can build your destiny or destroy your peace. It can push you forward or pull you under. Every victory, every defeat begins first in the battlefield of your mind. That's where everything starts, not outside of you, but inside. Most people lose their battles long before they ever take action because they've allowed fear, doubt, and worry to become their dominant thoughts. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it grows. If you sow seeds of worry, you'll harvest anxiety. If you sow seeds of faith, you'll harvest strength. That's why it's your daily duty to guard what enters it. You can't allow every negative thought, every critical opinion, every discouraging word to take root. You must become the gatekeeper of your mental garden. Because if you don't train your mind to think strong, disciplined thoughts, the world will train it to think weak, reactive ones. When fear whispers, you can't, you must respond with certainty, watch me. When self-doubt says, you're not ready, tell it, I'm willing to learn. When failure tries to define you, remind yourself, this is not the end of my story. The way you talk to yourself determines how you show up in life. Your inner voice becomes your outer reality. That's why champions speak strength, even when they feel weak. They feed their minds with inspiration, not hesitation. They study daily, listen intentionally, and think deliberately, because they know the mind can either be their master or their servant. If you want strength, you must discipline your thoughts the same way an athlete disciplines their body. You must train your mind every morning with gratitude, with goals, with grounded truth. You must watch your mental diet, what you read, what you listen to, who you surround yourself with. Because your environment becomes the architect of your mindset. The mind is not automatically your friend. It becomes your ally only when you train it. Left untrained, it will run wild, amplifying fears and magnifying problems. But once mastered, it becomes your greatest source of calm and clarity in chaos. The one who controls his mind controls his world. The one who loses control of his mind becomes a slave to every emotion, every setback, every opinion. So take the driver's seat of your mind, direct it toward strength, not struggle. Command it to focus on what's right, not what's wrong. Because in the end, life doesn't respond to your emotions, it responds to your mindset. And if you can master your mind, you can master any moment, any challenge, any situation life puts before you. Focus on what you can control, release what you can't. This is one of life's greatest disciplines, and one of the hardest to master. The truth is, much of what happens around you is beyond your reach. People's opinions, unexpected changes, delays, losses, outcomes you can't predict or prevent. But strength doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from learning to control yourself when you can't control anything else. Most people waste their energy fighting what's out of their hands. They get angry at circumstances, bitter at people, frustrated with timing. They spend their days wishing things were different, instead of working with what they have. But strong people, the ones who endure, the ones who rise, they know how to separate what's theirs to manage from what's not. They understand that peace begins the moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. You can't control the weather, but you can control your attitude toward it. You can't control the economy, but you can control your work ethic and your creativity. You can't control other people's behavior, but you can control your response and your boundaries. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the effort. Life becomes lighter when you stop trying to manage what was never your responsibility. When you focus on what you can control, your mindset, your effort, your consistency, your attitude, you begin to feel powerful again. You start to see progress where before there was only frustration. The weak complain about circumstances. The strong create change within themselves. The weak wish for the world to adjust. The strong adjust themselves to the world. That's the difference between emotional chaos and mental stability. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving yourself permission to live free. It means trusting that what's beyond your control is still under a greater order, even when you don't understand it. It means doing your best with what you have, where you are, and then releasing the rest. Because no amount of stress, worry, or resistance can rewrite what's already written. But calm focus can help you write a better next chapter. You see, life is not about controlling every wave, it's about learning how to surf. You can't stop the tide, but you can strengthen your balance. You can't stop the wind, but you can adjust your sails. The moment you shift your focus from control to contribution, from fear to faith, you take your power back. That's how the strong survive storms, not by fighting them, but by learning to move with them. So, choose today to focus on what's in your hands, your effort, your choices, your growth. And release what isn't. The rest will unfold as it's meant to. The freer your mind becomes from control, the stronger your spirit becomes in chaos. Because true power is not in controlling everything. It's in remaining calm. When everything is out of control, turn pain into power. Because pain, my friend, is the great equalizer. Everyone feels it, but not everyone uses it. Some let it destroy them, while others let it develop them. The difference isn't in the pain itself, it's in the perception of it. The same fire that melts wax hardens clay. It's not about the heat, it's about what you're made of. Pain is not here to punish you, it's here to prepare you. It's life's most honest teacher, stripping away comfort, excuses, and weakness until all that's left is the raw material of strength. Every setback carries a seed of strength if you choose to look for it. Every heartbreak contains wisdom if you choose to listen. Every loss teaches perspective if you're willing to learn. Pain introduces you to parts of yourself you didn't know existed: courage, patience, resilience, humility. Those traits aren't born in success. They're born in struggle. Success makes you proud, but pain makes you powerful. You can let pain become your prison, or you can let it become your power plant. You can cry about what happened, or you can rise because of what happened. Every scar you carry is a story of survival, proof that you went through something that tried to break you, and you're still standing. The wound might remind you of the hurt, but it should also remind you of the healing, because strength doesn't come from what you escaped. It comes from what you endured. Pain is energy, and like all energy, it can be transformed. Turn your frustration into fuel. Turn your disappointment into determination. Turn your loss into leadership. The world doesn't remember those who stayed down. It remembers those who stood up again. The pain you feel today could be the story that inspires someone tomorrow. But it starts with a decision to stop seeing pain as your enemy and start seeing it as your instructor. Every time life hits you hard, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because if you stay stuck in why, you'll stay trapped in suffering. But if you move toward what now, you'll turn that suffering into strategy. Pain gives you empathy, perspective, and wisdom that comfort never could. It sharpens your focus, humbles your ego, and deepens your character. That's why the strongest souls often come from the deepest struggles. They learned to alchemize pain into purpose. So when life hurts, don't hide from it, harness it. Let it make you wiser, tougher, more compassionate. Let it push you to grow beyond the limits you once believed in. You can't always choose the pain, but you can always choose the purpose. And when you learn how to turn your pain into power, you'll never fear another storm again, because you'll know that every time it rains, it's just watering the next version of you that's ready to rise. Keep your faith higher than your fear, because in every season of life, you will face moments when fear screams louder than reason, when nothing seems to work, when doors close, when the future looks uncertain. And in those moments, it's not your talent that will carry you, not your strength, not even your intelligence, it's your faith. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to go when you can't yet see the path. It's the quiet voice that says, keep walking, even when the ground is shaking beneath your feet. Fear is natural. It's part of being human. But faith is a choice. Fear looks at what's in front of you. Faith looks at what's beyond it. Fear says, what if I fall? Faith says, what if I fly? Fear limits. Faith liberates. The difference between those who rise and those who retreat isn't that one group has less fear. It's that they've learned how to keep their faith stronger than their fear. When life gets dark, when the answers don't come, when the plan falls apart, faith reminds you that even if you can't see the bigger picture, there is one. Faith is not the denial of reality. It's the belief that there's more to reality than what you can currently see. It's what keeps you calm when chaos hits, what keeps you standing when everything in you wants to collapse. The person who has faith doesn't need perfect conditions. They create progress through conviction. Think about every great achiever, every hero, every person who overcame the impossible. They didn't do it because life was easy. They did it because they believed something greater was possible. Faith kept them working when results didn't show. Faith kept them moving when motivation was gone. Faith kept them building when everyone else quit. And that same faith can keep you strong too. You see, fear will always whisper, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? What if you're not enough? But faith will whisper back, Even if I fail, I'll grow. Even if it doesn't work, I'll learn. Even if I fall, I'll rise. That's power. That's peace. That's what makes you unstoppable. Keeping your faith higher than your fear means believing in progress, even when it's invisible. It means trusting that there's purpose in pain, that the waiting season isn't wasted, that what's meant for you is still on the way, even if it's taking longer than expected. It means waking up each morning and saying, I don't know how, but I know it will. So when fear tries to take over your mind, feed your faith instead. Surround yourself with people who believe, with words that inspire, with habits that strengthen. Pray, plan, and persist. Because faith isn't just spiritual, it's strategic. It gives you emotional stability, mental clarity, and inner peace when everything else feels uncertain. Remember this: fear looks at the mountain and stops. Faith looks at the mountain and starts climbing. Fear freezes, faith moves. Fear drains your energy, faith restores it. So no matter what you face, setbacks, delays, heartbreak, or loss, keep your faith higher than your fear. Because storms may shake your world, but if your faith stands firm, nothing can take your peace, your purpose, or your power away. Staying strong isn't about pretending you're not hurting. It's about learning how to stand even when you are. Strength is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. So don't wish for life to be easier. Wish to be stronger, and then go to work on your mind, your habits, your heart, until strength becomes not what you do, but who you are.